steady before I get going. 1 second. Make sure everything is steady. Oh, there we go. You should be able to hear me better now. Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. And others. Today is Wednesday, July the 8th, 2026. The time is 1:03 p.m. And I titled this one, Charleston White is accused of the unthinkable. Then I should have put, or is it? Right? And before I get started, and shout out to OG Murder. Shout out to him for doing these videos. And I gotta give him credit. Right? But I'm gonna play something. I'm gonna play a few things for y'all, but let me play this for you real quick.
Said, say, man, there's a video of you going around saying your 9-year-old cousin when you was 19. I said, son, who you getting how much he was 40 years later? So what? So I ain't never had one allegation, and I'm telling you, I ain't never had one allegation, and I ain't got one allegation, not a one. Ain't nobody said he done nothing. Ain't nobody said he done nothing. About 11 or 12, and we was in Miami house. Charleston had just came home from CYC, and I was getting out the shower or whatever, and he came in there bundling me.
One of the persons.
Right. She said he came in there fondling me, allegedly. Right? But Charleston White has said so many things. Right? And remember, he said, I'm telling you, and I done took it, but not one allegation. Right? And so what bothers me is, number one, I'm always going to say, why is this behavior accepted into our community, right? Why is this behavior accepted, right? And I'm gonna play y'all other videos, right? Charleston White has been a problem since he first came on the scene. He's been a problem since he first came on the scene, but because he comes in with such an entertaining value, whatever that is, because he comes in with a whole lot of antics, because he comes in with a bipolar mentality, and he's able to get you to see things 1 minute, and he's able to talk this way, and he's able to incite this, and he's able to do that. See, we have to do a better job at picking leaders and spokesmen, right? And the fact that he's able to just come in, because a lot of our people have a low racial self-worth, right? So when he comes in and he says these things about black people, and he talks about drill music, and he talks about King Von, and he talks about the lack of positive rap music, right? A lot of people, because a lot of our people don't have a good racial sense of understanding, that sounds good to you, right? That sounds good to you, but there's always another side. And let me play you something else. So whoever don't know, he's being accused of rape by a family member. And I'm gonna also play you something else. Let me play this.
Am I wrong, guy? Yeah, nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong for what he did to that bitch at 2 in the morning, nigga. Yeah, I'll tell the world, Charleston White believe some hoes need their ass whooped and some hoes need their pussies took. Sexy Red is on the top of the list. Hoes like her. Am I wrong, guys? Yeah, nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong for what he did to that bitch at 2 in the morning. No, hell no. Now, Kobe Bryant was wrong. Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. Kobe was wrong. That little girl was just taking Kobe on the tour. It was regular hour when Kobe did what he did. But nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. I'm telling you, he wasn't wrong at all, bitch. Come up, bro. Yeah. Somebody get Talib Kweli. I want him to see this. Nigga, some hoe.
And see it, and in the video, he's jumping up and down with excitement. Right? So this is how my people are duped in, right? You can't hear? Can y'all hear? No? Sounds weak? Hold on, let me adjust. Let me know if y'all can hear. If you can't hear, tell me. All right. Can y'all hear? I'll replay it. Let me know if you can hear this time.
Chill. I'll tell the world. Charleston White believe some hoes need their ass whooped and some.
It's still muffled. Y'all still can't hear? Maybe I have to come out and restart. It's still muffled. You can't hear me? Thank you for letting me know that too. It's a bit better. Okay, if you can't hear, let me know, because I don't want to give a video and y'all can't hear. It's pointless. But if it sound muffled, let me know. Thank you.
Hoes need. Chill. I'll tell the world. Charleston White believe some hoes need their ass whooped and some hoes need their pussies took. Sexy Red is on the top of the list. Hoes like her. Am I wrong, guys? Yeah, nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong for what he did to that bitch at 2 in the morning. No, hell no. Now, Kobe Bryant was wrong. Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. Kobe was wrong. That little girl was just taking Kobe on the tour. It was a regular album when Kobe did what he did. But nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. I'm telling you, he wasn't wrong at all, bitch. Come on, girl. Yeah.
See, and it's that. Can y'all hear me? It's the ability to jump up and down and entertain you. Right? It's the ability to come across as, I'm a character, I'm just playing. And he said, y'all heard exactly what he said. Some of them need it took. Sexy Red is one of them. And like I said, y'all cannot agree. Rage bait kinda. But see, is it? Is it or is it? I always have felt like, because if you listen to him closely, Shogun, if you listen to him closely, he always have said, I paid attention to him for a long time. And he always say, I control the narrative. I make y'all think whatever. Right? So what's the obvious thing is to come across, like you said, and rage bait and make you think he's just joking. He's just trolling. But now you have this family member that came out and said, yo, he fondled her when she was 11 years old. Right? He fondled her when she was 11 years old, and he was 19 or 20. And so his response was he was locked up when he was 19 or 20. But like I said, shout out to OG Murder. Sometimes you have to follow up and just ask questions. And I simply asked the question of, when was Charleston White released? Because the cousin was a child, right? She was a child, and she said that 19 or 20. So she wasn't sure with the age. And even in his response, as I played in the beginning, he said, somebody said, you did that to your 9-year-old. She never said she was 9 years old. Right? So the thing is, why do we overlook this type of behavior? I had a person that told me on my other post, they said, yo, that doesn't mean he's guilty. Now, the person wasn't caping for him. Because I said the first thing people are going to say is she's clout chasing. Right? She's clout chasing. She's clout chasing. And the fact that she said the reason that she spoke out and even said anything was because he was online bragging about it. And another thing we have to stop doing is saying, why now? Why she come out and said? She also went over that and said that he had just got out. So they didn't want him to have any more trouble. Now she's got papers and everything. They didn't want him to, and see what we have to understand, because that's what y'all try to do with R. Kelly and say, well, the parents, the family, we are such an abused-minded people that you try to cover up for it. Now it was kind of like a restraining order. He couldn't go around her, but the damage is done. The trauma is done. And we hear him saying, we heard him in that compilation I played in the beginning and saying, I'm telling you, I've took it. Now, even though these are allegations, but why is it so hard to believe when you got a person running around saying, oh, no don't mean know where I'm from? Sometimes people are telling you, that's why I said I'm sick of y'all misusing Maya Angelou quote of when a person show you who they are, believe them. He's been showing you that he's not down for the culture for the longest. He get up here and he's so dismissive when it comes to his people. But you see how well behaved he is when he's over there with Aiden Ross? With that piece of crap, Little Neon or whatever that kid name is. He doesn't behave like that. To come out and turn on Carmelo Anthony's family like that, and then in his explanation, he said it's about content for me. He said I got to make content for the Metcalf side, I got to make content for the Anthony side. Then he goes on to say, I can't have Aiden Ross mad at me. That's a nephew. See, he put claim to Aiden Ross. That's family to him. Meanwhile, people pay him a handsome ransom to sit on their podcast and down talk black people. How is he a help? Right? How is he a help? Yo, LB in the house. Right? So it's like, also, why do we advocate for the most piss poor behavior? I was listening to Uncle Luke respond to India Ari, and I told y'all gonna get up off of India Ari. Because the AOCs, or the agents of chaos, their job is to police your thoughts and keep you in a dysfunctional state. I was talking to a homie yesterday, and he told me, he said, bro, notice it wasn't the children with us. It was always the adults. Or it was always the older ones. Right? Charleston White is in his 40s, even though that's a hard 40. That he's in his 40s behaving like this. Making a declaration that women need to be abused. That's not his first time. I remember him giving advice to Blueface, telling him to hit Krishan Rock in the top of the head. But he's a bipolar person speaking to a bipolar people, right? But he'll get up there and he'll get on his high horse whenever he's on the other side of his consciousness. But who laughs? Much like Corey Holcomb, who laughs and make jokes about rape? Who makes jokes? Who in their right mind finds this funny? Certainly not nobody with a well-adjusted mind, right? Let me read that. I appreciate that. Right? We have to understand. And then when I'm listening to Luke with his goofy take, and he tries to equate India Ari's opinion of spin that as black on black crime. Tell me you're lost and goofy, Luke, without telling me. Because he, like Trick Daddy, these are the old heads. He, like Trick Daddy, he equated it and said, it's always the blacks coming after each other. It's always black on black. Then he tried to equate that song Spin That to art. to somebody in an art gallery watching a naked statue and the tallywhacker showing. You're comparing apples to bowling balls. But why is it that we want to constantly have this dysfunctional behavior? Because it serves the purpose of this system. In order to keep us collectively on the bottom, we cannot, and I repeat, we cannot. It is not in the best interest that we think at our highest capacity. And I also was telling my friend, and he said something so profound that made sense to me. See, I give credit over here. He said, bro, they always say we use 10% of our minds. He said, but in my opinion, that 10% is the lack of consciousness and understanding. Because the more you begin to understand, you start to be able to think better. You're able to use more of your mind, which means also, in my opinion, whose opinion? You're able to feel better. You're able to show compassion. Charleston White shows compassion for nobody. He cares nothing about the black community, but he did care when Aiden Ross kept talking about how good his tallywhacker is and how good he screwed. What's the dynamics between him and Aiden Ross? Why does Aiden Ross constantly talk about his man area and his private parts and so much of how good that Charleston White has sex? Something is not cool, but we don't ask enough questions because we just see his entertaining value. And then we see where he sit down and he tries to have these intellectual conversations. Ain't y'all tired of these people coming into the community doing the same thing over and over and over and over? But he knows, much like Umar Johnson, he knows the fragile mindset of the people, so it's easy to pimp. It's easy to pimp because all you have to do is point out the obvious. He has a Charleston White, his last name is correct, because he has a white Eurocentric consciousness. So he can always start, and I had a short that I said, if you're starting from the middle of a movie, you don't understand the movie. Correct, somebody said they want us to use 10% only. So they keep us spinning. Exactly. See, the more they keep you in the stage of confusion, the more you don't know what's going on. So that's why you can say, all we do is kill each other. We our own worst enemy because we're the only enemy that we are allowed to have. We don't even feel comfortable talking down on no other race. If it's just music, Luke, Uncle Luke, emphasis on uncle. If it's just music, if Spin That is just a song, right? And we're not even gonna waste time on that melting booger Trick Daddy. If these things are just songs, right? Nothing to worry about, it's just a song. And since he want to say white people don't sing, white people don't behave like that. How come white people don't make degenerate songs over and over and over and over and over? Because they know the implications of that. They know the implications. If they constantly make negative music, it destroys their culture, whatever culture they have. And I said, this is mighty hypocritical and funny of Luke that he's trying to say that India Ari's opinion equates to black on black crime and that only black people do this to other black people while doing it to a black woman and throwing a stray at Jill Scott. And then caping for a song that pushes degeneracy to your black consciousness. How does that work? But these people are really AOCs, they're agents of chaos. That's why they come out and attack India Ari. He also said, if everybody thought like India Ari, that's cool. And then it was funny, he was trying to pretend like he didn't know what her name was or whatever her name is. It would be boring. See, when they say boring, that means that shows you right there their level of thinking, their thinking capability. Boring. Boring. It would be boring. You want dysfunction, right? So let me play this again for people that don't understand what I'm talking about Charleston White. But first, I want y'all to hear this one.
Chill. I tell you, listen, I tell the world, Charleston White believe some hoes need their ass whooped and some hoes need their pussies took. Sexy red is on the top of the list. Hoes like her.
So hoes like Sexy Red deserve to be sexually assaulted and abused. And this is the person that represents and influences the mind. I cannot get past influence. I cannot get past influence. See, that's a powerful word. And we use it so loosely when we say, I want to be a social media influencer. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a social media influencer. Well, in that, what are you influencing people to do? Because when you got a DUI and you're driving under the influence, that means some alien outside force has taken over your normal state. You're not even operating in your normal state. So influence can have a positive and a negative effect, right? You can influence people to do positive things, but that's not what we're talking about when we hear that. That some women need to be abused and some women need to be assaulted, right? I asked, so can y'all hear me? I kept saying, can y'all hear me? If y'all can't hear me, let me know. Can y'all hear okay? Thumbs up if y'all can hear okay. If not, I'll scrap this live and start over. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, I see what you're saying. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Dusty in the building. Somebody say I can hear. Cool. Yeah, sometimes I have to work on these sounds. No, it's cool. It's cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all for letting me know. Right? I want to go back to something somebody said about influence. Somebody said, hold on. Somebody just said, hold on, let me read this comment. The CIA introduced hardest and the newest to low-income black areas when Nixon was president. I don't think they really stopped, and it's only gotten worse. Facts. Okay, so also a book, because y'all know I give out books. A book that talks about something of what you're saying, Patty, is Monster. It's by Monster Cody or Sainka Shakur. And on one specific chapter or page, he talks about how an alien force gobbled up the people of Compton. And it was also the gang. So we have to understand that we was hit with a loaded weapon, right? And that's a good point, right? But I want to find that comment. Dusty said, "Crazy human." The Boondocks was supposed to. The Boondocks exposed a lot. I want to find that comment. I want to find that comment. Where'd that comment go? Oh, here it is, right here. It was Dusty. Dusty says the influence is willing to who is willing to give you money to influence others, right? And also, I want to read you something. This also comes out of a book. This is what I was talking about yesterday when I was talking about the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, right? And we have to understand the shaping of the minds of the people. So like when they come in and talk about why black people are destroy each other, why we destroy each other in such alarming numbers, because it served the purpose. It served the purpose. There's a reason why we're not allowed this. What if we made music targeting others the way we make music targeting each other? It would be pulled from the shelves and it would never reach the light of day, because they know the impact and the influence of music, which all India Ari was attempting to say before she got jumped. Let me find it. This is a dope, but anybody that don't know about the Tavistock Institute, I suggest you look into it. A dope book. Okay, here we go. And this is also Edward Bernays. And you have to know who Edward Bernays is. He has a book out called Propaganda. But I want you to listen to this part specifically right here. And this part is also in his propaganda book. And I like to read this chapter. I like to read this passage right here because it sums up so much. He says, quote, "If we understand the mechanisms and the motives of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without them knowing," Bernays postulated. He called this technique what? Engineering consent. One of his best known techniques of achieving this goal was the indirect use of what he called third-party authorities to shape the desired opinions. Now dig this. If you can influence the leaders either with or without their conscious cooperation, you automatically influence the group in which they sway. This technique is called what? Opinion making. Right? So let's just say he used Sexy Red. I don't agree with Sexy Red. I think Sexy Red is put to destroy the masses, much like I think Future. I think that we can't. See, here was the thing that when India Ari spoke, we had all these people that got up here and said, okay, I'm reading the comments. Okay. Hey, bud. My phone will update soon. If I vanish, it's because of that. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for your support and thank you for your time, right? So I think what happened when India Ari came out and gave her opinion, I started to see all of these adults do this thing and say, hey, well, y'all didn't say nothing about this. What y'all think about Future? Y'all didn't say nothing about Snoop Dogg. Y'all didn't say nothing about this. See, this is why we can't solve anything, because we keep playing leapfrog. We keep playing, what about? Hey, what about? You ain't say nothing about this. What about that? And what we're talking about, in my opinion, is a relay race. So for every Uncle Luke, we had a Snoop. For every Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, Adina Howard, we had males and females who took the consciousness into a more derogatory way. We had a Bone Thugs and Harmony. We had NWA. To sway the opinions and the thoughts of the people. right? So when we're saying, hey, and Trick Daddy with his ignorant response saying, like, what was funny about his response was not only was he just having a meltdown in the car, he looked like he was melting, but he said, first he started off by saying, what Young Miami is doing is positive, but then he went on to say, we've been had negative music all this time, and I don't like that. Because we're not addressing the real issue. They are the gatekeepers of ignorance. They want to keep you in an ignorant state. But then out the other side of their mouths, they will complain about the conditions of black people. Let me see what you say. It says, notice how all but the really, really Trumpy and Bible thumpy. Right? You know what though, Patty? Patty says, notice how all the like really, really, really Trumpy and Bible thumpy don't have the consistent everyday trolling affecting their streams. Because they are the trolls. Patty, I don't know if you just new to mine. I try to keep up with my people that reoccur. But if you were to sit into my lives, Dusty is always here. Me and Dusty disagree, agree. LB, they are always here. And they sit and they show you, they'll tell you the amount of just racist trolls, Trumpers that just sit in my live and just say the most ignorant things. Right? Because this is always a conscious thing. It's a level of consciousness. See, on cue, you finally laid off the crack rock to buy a new mic. And look, they was just complaining about the mic. See, you finally laid off. See, because that's what racism is. See, right on cue, Patty. You finally laid off the crack rock to buy a new, because that's their thing. All black people are just on no intelligence, low IQ. Yeah, I figured you were new, Patty. Right. And that's what they do. You said they have employed them in shifts and they just sit in lives and just be disruptive. Right? So we have to examine behavior. Right? Because the thing is, you want to put white behavior as the pinnacle or as the standard of this, but they are some of the most dysfunctional ones. They are the most dysfunctional ones. And what I say to them all the time, Patty, I said, notice that I'm never in y'all lives. I'm never in your comments. Black people and others are never in their comments trolling them. But this is where the mental, because racism is a mental illness. Right? But if we're going to do anything better, we're going to have to break the cycles of this dysfunction what Trick Daddy wants you to hang on to. Charleston White wants you to hang on to. Right? Yes, evidence is, let me see. Yes, evidence is it's every single day when it didn't used to be. It happened when YouTube was getting a little too free speech for their liking. Exactly. Somebody says, whites have no place to determine the standard or equality to us. We were deceived into thinking that they were. Thinking that we needed them to do or have anything. And that's what it is. That's what we're talking about right there. Great point. The great mind screw. Because only people that serve that low way of thinking thinks that they are the standard. Right? And that's why I said that's what was so disgusting about Luke's comment. Uncle Luke, emphasis on Uncle Ruckus. Uncle was that he said, well, this is like black on black crime, if everybody listened to Jill Scott, I don't know why Jill Scott caught a stray. If everybody was to listen to Jill Scott and India Ari, we would be boring. Because elevating and advancing your mind is boring to people that want to keep you in a dysfunctional mentality. And when they want to keep you into a dysfunctional mentality, it is for control use. So Luke has no real talent. Trick Daddy has no real talent. Can they rap? Yeah. But they have no real talent. So once that society or black people no longer can meet them at their frequency, they are pointless. Right? So we can't have it both ways to where we're talking about us. I'm talking to us that we need to do better. There needs to be better. And let me play it again for the people that don't understand why am I talking about Charleston White? The thumbnail says Charleston White, but I'm talking about something else. Shout out also to House of Hypocrites, where I get these receipts from. Always cite your sources and give where you give credit.
Who will win the World Cup? Brazil, USA, or Spain?
USA.
I'm about to say Spain.
Spain's correct, but if you believe the USA's winning,
Not a one. Somebody said, say, man, there's a video of you going around say your 9-year-old cousin when you was 19. I said, so who getting how much you were 40 years later? So what? So I ain't never had one allegation, and I'm telling you, I done took. I ain't never had one allegation, and I done took. I ain't got one allegation, not a one. Ain't nobody said he done nothing. Ain't nobody said he done nothing. About 11 or 12, and we was in Miami. Charleston had just came home from TYC, and I was getting at the show or whatever, and he came in there pondering me.
Now I was one of the persons.
She said when she was 11 or 12 years old, Charleston White had just came home. And notice when you listen to his rebuttal, he's playing games. He said 9 years old. See, you have to understand how these people try to play games with your mind to get you on their side. Right? She said 19 or 20. Now she's a child, so she don't have she'll say in the interview, I don't have our ages correct. But Charleston White, let him tell it. He says, how did I do that? He goes on to say that when he's saying so. How did I do that when I was locked up? But shout out to OG Murder that pointed this thing out. That if you just simply ask the right question, it'll give you the right answer. And it clearly tells you that he was released just before he was 21. So that means he was 20 years old, which put it on accurate timeline of what she said. Now, it is just an accusation. Do I know it's true? I do know that they got paperwork. I know she said that her family made her feel bad and said that she just wanted attention. So when people say, why now? Why would she just say something now? She also said that. She said she saw him bragging about that online. See, we have to learn to listen to both sides. So Charleston White also said that she was 9 years old. Nobody said that was 9 years old. Unless there's more that we don't know about. Right? See, we have to learn to hear. The first thing we learn to say, why now? And I hate that. When they say, why now? That's a lot of times why the victims don't ever speak up. Especially, don't let them be popular. Don't let them be a popular singer, dancer, basketball player, athlete, whatever. That's why, because they know that the masses aren't going to believe them. He also is saying this, right?
Chill. I'll tell the world. Charleston White believe some hoes need their ass whooped and some hoes need their pussies took. Sexy Red is on the top of the list. Hoes like her. Am I wrong, guys? Yeah.
Sexy Red is at the top. But wait, there's more.
Nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong for what he did to that bitch at 2 in the morning. No, hell no. Now, Kobe Bryant was wrong. Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. Kobe was wrong. That little girl was just taking Kobe on the tour. It was a regular album when Kobe did what he did. But nigga, Mike Tyson wasn't wrong. I'm telling you, he wasn't wrong at all, bitch. Come up here. Yeah.
See, it's that sinister laugh. It's his entertainment value. Now, does he have the gift to hold your attention? Absolutely. But the question I want to ask, why does that childishness hold your attention? Why does him jumping up and down saying these things, saying also at one point that Blueface should take his fist and hit Krishan in the top of the head? But then he'll tell you about he have an organization for the youth. He should not teach the youth anything. See, that's the problem. We're having the wrong type of people. We're having the wrong type of people to speak to our children. Right? We're having the wrong type of people to speak and influence our children. Why does his mentality appeal to you? If I have anybody in my comments or anybody that's going to watch this live later on, comment to me, what is it that you find so entertaining or fascinating about him? Did he do it, or was it? Because I always hear conflicting stories. I heard that he was just a part of it. Did he do that to somebody, or was it somebody that he with? Because he showed snitched on his people. And see, what was funny about him, he said he came from a well-to-do family, that he didn't even need the starter jacket. Right? But he's always the one sitting on these platforms talking about the behavior of black people. You have to understand it before you're going to talk about it. It's too many people that do that. It's too many people that start the movie in the middle and talk about what they think. It's too many people that do that. It is a form of enabling, Dusty, because they move the goalposts with his behavior. And they say, oh, well, he's just playing a character. Is he? I always like to say, Batman is a character too. We all know reality. We all know Michael Keaton and Batman or Bruce Wayne is two different. But imagine trying to talk to Wesley Snipes, and he shows up in character as Blade. And you're trying to talk to him, and he's trying to speak on serious matters, but he's showing up as Blade. That's the problem with our conscious level. We let characters. He's found him a lane. He understands the mental status of our people. He understands the level of our people, and he pimps that. He's able to say something now. Is this young lady telling the truth? I have no reason to doubt her. Now, if she's not, it should be a shame. Because I've seen several black men get behind her. I've seen several black women get behind her. But from me discerning, I don't think she's lying. From him saying several times, even bragging about doing it to white women. He said this too much for this just to be, and I will say for legal purposes, allegedly. But if you're bragging and laughing about it, why won't we take that a little bit more serious? Somebody said you give him too much credit. Explain, big brother. Explain to me why you think that, dog. Do I give him too much credit, or am I shining light on the credit that he's getting? Because it's my people that tell me how much truth he's talking. How much they see where he's coming from. He ain't that smart, big bro. Now I will, bro. You are factual with that. So guess what I say though, big brother trucker. Charleston White sounds smart to dumb people. I always say that. I just haven't said it in this live. I have another one that I talk about. But see, I think that if you are a black man, brother trucker, I think that for any sane black man, we don't owe it to ourselves to do hour-long think pieces on him. But we owe it to ourselves and to our communities to push back on that. Because we know, those of us that got stable minds know that he's not that smart. But he ain't a dummy either, right? That's why he's been able to amass the money that he has, because he's been able to get in and play this quote-unquote character that they keep telling me. Somebody says he's not, big brother. Yet you only need to be slightly smarter than your prey. Facts. We know that. But the fact that he has this entertainment value and he appeals to people at their conscious level. That's the real thing we should be talking about. He appeals to people at their thinking capability. Because for everybody that will get up there and shout out to the brothers that do, whether I agree with everything them brothers say, because it's not about agreeing. Like I always say, this is not an echo chamber. But to the black men that's able to stand up and say, nah, this out of pocket right here, flag on play. Right? He's able to brag and say, I took it. I took it. Just look it up for yourself. Y'all look it up for yourselves. But again, it's like Dusty said earlier. The influence comes to whoever they will pay. Right? The bar is so low for intelligence. So I hear people all the time, they say, yo, it's too many podcasts. It's too many podcasts. Everybody don't need a podcast. I agree. This is what we're gonna say. But I also think that no, it's not too many podcasts. It's an influx on stupidity, stupid podcasts. Because we have so many black males and black females that come from a surface level of conscious thinking. And they can only give you a surface level of thinking. They can't give you no higher level. They can't even tell you about problem solving. Most of these people, you meet them at their trauma and they sound good. They got away with words. But a lot what they say is just straight up detrimental to your mind. Right? Somebody said Calci. Oh, that's Dusty. Will sponsor anyone because anyone is vulnerable to gambling, right? But I just wanted to kind of shine a little light on that And like I said, shout out to the OG Murder, who I was just listening to him and I was like, whoa, damn, appreciate that. Yo, intellectual integrity. Shout out where you get your receipts from. Shout out to where you hear stuff. It's enough for us to go around. We don't have to operate in scarcity. We don't have to operate in greed. We don't have to operate in survival of the fittest. I got mine, you get yours. I got to step on somebody. I have to X the other man out. That's not our frequency. See, you got to get on a proper frequency. And a lot of times people don't know. I'm not a popular person because I don't get up here and shuck and jive and act a fool. I don't jump on top of a car to entertain you to get my point. So I don't appeal to the masses. And I can do that. That's not hard to do. But I'm also true to who I am. So sometimes I could be so much because I feel like in this modern world, everybody trying to do whatever to go viral. And when we hear the word viral, a virus have never, I think of viruses. And a virus have never been good for you. Right? A virus have never been good, but we chase this viral thing so much that we would do anything, we would say anything. I like when they come up with these think pieces about my flag. My flag gets them every time. I have 10 to 12 comments every day about my flag. And I told y'all, I've spoken on my flag so much. Hey, somebody say, I like your fake gold microphone. You can totally tell it's fake. Oh, they deleted the comment. Don't bitch up and delete the comment. You see what I'm saying? Mentality. Don't bitch up and delete your comment. You come in with just negativity to say, that's your character. Right? That's your operating frequency. I can't say we all like to be in this is to be in North America, really to be in the world. But to be in America, yes, it is a bit of mental illness on everybody's part. Now the degrees of it, right? But when people come in to be negative, like, what was that for? You say, okay, now you chill. But what was all of that? You like my fake gold microphone? What's all that serve? Like sometimes we just come in and be asses for no reason. And you think you being cool or you think you being funny, but but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Please check these out. Please check more of these receipts out. I'm gonna dig more and more into it. And like I said, you gotta get your discernment up. Right? You gotta get your discernment up. Because we so quick to say a woman is lying. And like I said, according to that fool, Marcellus Wiley, have women lied? Absolutely. More so white women. White women have lied on black men more than anybody. It laps. But you also have to have a level of discernment. Ask questions. No, just don't take any allegation as facts. Unpeel that layer. Right? She goes into a lot. His alleged cousin, she goes into a lot of saying how the family, basically didn't want to bring anything down. That is a real thing. And so when y'all say, why now, y'all minimize what that person going through. You don't know why now. Right? Some people suffer for a long time because of the environment. But we got to do better. But you can't do better until you elevate this. So when I say do better, sometimes that's just speaking to the atmosphere. That's just talking. Because you can't do better until you understand this needs to be improved. So sometimes it's pointless talking to racists because they can't do better. Everybody's not gonna be like in that movie with Edward Furlong and Edward Norton, American History X, where he comes to the realization at the end that all of that he was being led to was bull. Right? Not every racist is going to turn their mind around. So I don't waste time talking to them. They come in and they just throw all type of stereotypes. Criminalize me. I ain't never been in jail. Let me read the comments before I get out of here. Yo, Patty, you are funny. I'm just reading the comments. You find what triggering? You find what I'm saying triggering or Charleston White saying? What part do you find triggering? I appreciate that. But somebody said, as a black supremacist, I find this trigger in what part? What triggers you about this conversation? What part of this conversation do you find triggering? Because I think that we have to find the childish behavior and the destruction of these quote unquote influences or leaders triggering. Right? But he's such an infection that once he's coming to it and he says so much stuff. Yo, y'all, I could do probably a week-long live on just his behavior, on just Charleston White's dysfunctional behavior, and still wouldn't run out of dysfunctional material. See, we have to find more than just entertainment. And I always say he probably reminds them of Neighborhood J. He reminds them of a lot of people in the black community. Their drunk uncle that just says whatever. So that's why they like him. And then he appeals to people that don't read much. So like I said, he appeals to people with a low racial esteem. So when he comes out and he talks about black on black violence, a person that doesn't really understand, a black person that don't understand, they'll eat that black on black violence up without understanding cause and effect, right? Y'all gonna have to set that. What's your age and race, Patty? Oh man, we see, and then we could do a whole nother week on Trump. What's your age and race, if you don't mind me asking, Patty? Here come backdoor Billy. Big Bro said, for the record, Charleston. Hold on, let me read what Big Brother's saying. For the record, Charleston is on record saying anything to keep himself out of trouble. So why he won't say anything to stay out of trouble? P.S. Didn't he admit to being? Didn't he admit? He's admitted to so. I gotta stretch that, Big Brother. So much stuff. That's the point, Big Bro. That's the point, Big Brother. How does he admit all of this stuff and people still don't see it? That is the point, G. Oh, okay. Okay, so Patty is just, okay, cool. You like Patty Mills. You say I'm a dude. And never hated anything. Okay. So you black, white, you Hispanic, Patty? I'm just getting a gauge. See, here's the thing. It's like, and I don't want to put Dusty business out there, but me and Dusty are on two different ends of a certain subject, right? But I'm able to sit and have a conversation. I think that this is where things, I don't want to say you get progress, but you can get a level of understanding, right? Okay, white in appearance only. Cool. I just asked the question. Cool. Okay, you said white in appearance only, right? I have plenty of this MAGA that's in here. Some MAGA can sit down and behave. Believe it or not, Patty, you still don't trust them. But some MAGA can come in and actually have a decent conversation. They not like this little hillbilly piece of shit, Billy. Billy gripes at my live every day, but comes in my room to, this is what I mean, mental illness, right? So that's why I have to ask, like, who's talking to me, right? Do I think every white person is an inbred jackass like Billy? No. No. I've met some that you can actually have decent conversations. I've met some MAGA that they just totally extreme. They're totally out of their mind, but you still can have a conversation with them. Certain minds you can't even have a conversation with. I know. I just mess with you too. But you didn't put you know that you're an inbred jackass, don't you, Billy? Right? I know. I'm just messing with you too. Right. You said I can actually feel the spike even in their semi-polite setups. Because they can't help it, Patty. Like you can feel the energy through whatever. Just like I had one yesterday on the live, Patty, that I was talking about how white people can't experience racism, but because they can't experience it, the least little thing you say to them, they said that that's a racist act because they don't, even though they are the perfecters of it, they still don't receive it. And I had one that told me that Black people can't experience racism either because you have to be human to experience racism. And I've said on these lives several times that they don't see you as human. They only see what they think as human, right? Let me go back and read the comments are coming in. I ain't listening at you, Billy. You come talk about the same shit every day. I appreciate that. It don't take long. I'm sure we wouldn't get along. Billy said, I've told you, if you wasn't talking politics, I bet we would get along. I bet we wouldn't, Billy. Because I know your political take. I'm sure, Billy, we would not get along. Yeah. I'm just reading these ones. Their shitty grasp. Wit and comedy. Yeah. Like, right. He says, their shitty grasp of wit and comedy is a dead giveaway. They don't have sense of humor, Patty. So their joking is racist stereotypes. You see how the one said, oh, I see you've laid off of the crack rock to get you a better microphone. In his mind, he might be serious, but that's a joke. Hell, we saw that during the Kevin Hart roast. Those were jokes. He's so small, they would have to lynch him from a bonsai tree. That's comedy. Pain is comedy to these people. These are the people that would laugh at a car wreck. Right? Because they don't have a normal human level of thinking. Jesus was black. Hold on, let me read this one. I know, because if he was talking politics, then Billy would have to detract. All you got to do is follow regime logic, cross-reference. Yes. Hate disguised as jokes. Right? He hates my politics because it doesn't align with his. I guarantee you he's not bothered by some of the politics that Stephen A. Smith say. See, it's only when you a yes-or black person. And then when they say, well, I don't really care for his politics. I don't care for MAGA politics. I don't care for Stephen Miller. Right? Let me read this. Mental detachment. Mental detachment of some kind. And say, we not human. Shaking my head. But you know what? But you know why that is? Because if they were to admit we were human, that would mean the things that they have done in the past, present, and want to do in the future would be inhumane. And so they don't want to say that what they're doing is inhumane. So what do they have to do? Dehumanize you. So like I just read out of this right here, with opinion making and how they sway and socially engineer your mind, check out Albert Bandura. BF as in Frank Skinner. right? The more they're able to be modify your behavior. So the music serves a purpose. The degenerate music that I can't stand, it serves a purpose. So every time a little one go by the name of Savage, 21 Savage, Slime, some dehumanizing name, right? That's a justification if they influence the youth to call themselves savage, because they're like, look, they call themselves savages. So we have the right to treat them savagely. If they feel that they're not dealing with humans, then they can have no guilt complex. Because we're not human. We've already pathologized it. We've already pathologized it. They're not human. They don't feel pain. So Charleston White is not here to save anybody. He's not here to help no cause. Let me read this. What is Jerry saying? Well, according to the biblical description of Jesus, Jerry, according to the biblical description, whose description? Does he sound like a Jew? Does it describe a Jew? According to that description, because see, we can get into a back and forth all day of what we think, but when you read that description, do you think of Jewish? See, but it's not about, see, Billy, what you not understanding, it's not about what nobody thinks. But when they have power to execute a thing upon you based on their thoughts, that's when we have a problem, Billy boy. Right? So when we hear RFK and he talks like he's always pushing the turd out and the turd never comes out, and we have to get a thing of help, and whenever we got to suffer and listen to RFK Jr., right, Billy? And RFK Jr. right now is laying the blueprint to target autistic people, because he says they will never get to play baseball. Or first he started out with labor, though, because if America can't get no labor out you worthless to it. But he says never be able to write a poem, or because it's a level of extreme. Me and Dusty was talking about this yesterday, the levels of extremism, right? So if they're able to paint, no matter what autistic people feel of themselves, Billy, see, this is what you don't understand, the power behind racism. It's not me saying you smell like bologna or a wet dog. But the power that if they can have their way, they can eradicate autistic people or whoever they feel, how they think about those people, right? So no, it doesn't matter. You come in and say a lot of shit, Billy, and it doesn't matter what you say. But you already have a preconceived notion. Even though you say you're just playing, you already have a preconceived notion. You the same fuck that said in my comments and said you're impressed that I can read. Right? So racism comes from a bottom of the barrel inbred way of thinking that they always sit at the dinner table and it's always the story of the big bad sneaky black man, and we have to be vigilant of these people even though we have warred upon these people and taken everything. So we have to be vigilant because they might want revenge, but we didn't do anything, right? Let me read y'all comments. Well, I tell you about that, you're Billy. See, you don't understand, Billy. You don't understand. And that's because you have that white skin. You don't understand. You says no one has power over you or me. Billy, when C-19 came out, did they not have the power to shut the world down? Did they not have power over you to tell you where you could go? And that's just a light example. Right? So when a group of people can create Jim Crow laws and say where I can enter and where I can't, and then they say, why y'all make everything about race and color? Well, we weren't the only one. We weren't the ones that said whites only areas, right? And please don't try to use HBCUs, that weak argument. See, you don't understand because you subscribe to that mindset, Billy. So you wouldn't understand. That's why I said we would never get along. Somebody said Billy watches Alex Jones, and I was just cooking Alex Jones yesterday. Billy watches Billy watches Alex Jones. Alex Jones has pussied up too. Now Alex Jones, I think, isn't he one of them upset with Trump? He's pussied up too. Somebody said, Billy, your president got that shot. So what's your opinion about that? Interesting, Billy. Billy is always a rude fuck. But guess what? Billy is attracted to this life like they are to animals, right? Because he always comes in and he lies. Billy lied about his black principal, doing something to him. He could tell a lie just like that. That's another reason why I would never be cool with Billy. Because I would be the fall guy. Billy would blame something on a black person in a heartbeat. He comes in and say, Billy been lying, saying he been trying to block my life, but it won't go away. He can lie like a motherfucker, so Billy can't be trusted. No, Billy is a lying sack of shit. So, look, somebody said, yet you claim racism and call out whitey all the time. And you think that isn't racism? I told you. They prove my goddamn point every day. Because I call out whitey. Well, what is whitey doing that I'm calling out? Maybe whitey doing something he shouldn't be doing. But I told you, they prove my point. They can't experience racism, so they say when you call out or resist their racism, just by calling it out, that's racist. Because they want you to be like Stephen A. Smith. They want you to be like Jason Whitlock. They want you to be like Marcellus Wiley or whatever other yo-yo that they put on TV. Shannon Sharp, Skip. Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins is going to behave. Kendrick Perkins, if he doesn't get out of ESPN, he's gonna be just like Stephen A. Smith in a few more years. They're so ignorant. You weren't alive when there was segregation in the USA. Stop lying. Did I? You know what? Just keep going, because they don't understand. Why everyone cry all the time? Billy, why do you cry? Why are you always in this goddamn life? I told you, see, they want to always be the ones that judge how people should feel, people's emotional states. And I keep saying, they're running around, speaking of crying, Billy. Y'all are running around crying about the great replacement theory. That if the Democrats get in power, it's going to be over. They're gonna impeach Trump, and so he has to call out an invisible boogeyman. Y'all cry all the goddamn time. Shut up, Billy. Let me see what Patty talking about, man. Yeah, that's a honest admission, Patty. Now he playing like he don't know who Alex Jones is. Who is that? Who's Alex Jones? You know who. I told you, hey, don't trust nothing Billy say. Billy is a lying sack of shit. Don't trust nothing Billy say. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. He's monitoring. That's exactly what he's doing. Right? Facts. I'm just reading the comments. I'm just catching up. Good POV. That's exactly what I think he is. And I just put him on time out for a while, because sometimes you can only entertain the clown in the circus for so long. You know what? I say this all the time. That's always a good point, Patty. So the saying goes, the worst thing the devil ever did is convince humanity he doesn't exist. That's such a factual thing. And I think, like, for the people, because I seen somebody say this is clickbait, and I think they're not familiar with my live. Right? So I will start out talking about one topic and I get off into something else. I talk about a lot of issues. It might be an unorthodox way of doing, but I feel like they want to see me. I don't want to talk about that booger Charleston White straight for an hour. I can mention in and out, but what I talk about is people who exhibit the behavior, not just Charleston White. Not just Charleston White, but people that exhibit that behavior. It's others. Ain't that's what they like to say? Well, you don't say nothing about this, so when I use that as a thumbnail, and they come in and they think that I'm gonna listen, it's other OGs that is cooking him full time. What I want us to understand is a lot of people that subscribe to that behavior. I told you, there they go. Look, I said that. Somebody said, let me read it in my redneck voice. I appreciate that. Now here comes the inbred says, they love this one. This is one of their talking points, and I'm gonna get a list of y'all talking points. If the United States of America is so bad and racist, why don't people who hate it leave? Why don't you leave the live? If I'm bothering you so bad, why don't you leave? See, they love to tell you to leave and go elsewhere and go back to somewhere or go here when they ain't even from here natural. But they love to say, if you don't see same question on something, it's more easier for you to leave the live than anything else. And then look, here we go. Because a discussion is the reason we have the First Amendment. So I can be where I want to be and speak what I want to speak by that same admission. I swear if it rained brains, a lot of y'all wouldn't get wet. If it was a thunderstorm, rainstorm of brains, some of y'all would just be dry as a mofo. Right? He wants to tell me his reason why he can sit in a live that he doesn't like. But when I exercise that same right as a black man, freedom of speech, why don't you leave? And you know how many times, listen, if I had $1 for every time some lipless person, racist, have told me that, I would probably be gone. Fund my trip. Matter of fact, if you don't like what I'm saying so bad, fund my trip. If you fund my trip, fund my trip. If you don't like what I'm saying, are you willing to fund my trip and donate? If not, shut up. I didn't say I didn't like it once. You didn't have to say because you said if it's so bad and it's so racist, you never forget your comment is right here in the comments. So if you saying if I don't agree with the racism and I'm gonna speak about it, then if racism is just so bad, then why don't we leave? You don't have to say you didn't say that. See, y'all be thinking you with an ignorant tap dance. Y'all say this same stuff over and over. And what I always say, I noticed that it's different people, whether it's that poop stain that I put out, Billy, whether it's you, whether it's the other guy, Rusty, it's a group of y'all. And y'all are different individuals, but y'all mindset are the same. Why is the mindset the same? I listened to somebody say, because y'all have zero sum, right? And y'all hate difference of opinions so bad that Emmanuel Acho, who I don't particularly care for, but he gave a basketball opinion about Caitlin Clark and said the league probably could be better off without her. And those racists, how did they meet with racism? By threatening to put him up against a tree. They meant that by saying they would put him up against a tree for his opinion. Right? Why can't y'all exhibit normal patterns of behavior? Let me ask you a question. Somebody said, this man just called another man racist. And he didn't say anything racist. He said that he could tell by the non-racist things he said that he was racist. Think about that. Nobody cares about the WNBA. So if they don't care, why they threaten to take that man's life if they don't care? See, it's always a rabbit hole of stupidity with y'all. Somebody cares to the fact that they want to threaten that man's life early in the morning. Anyway. That was not the left media. That was a regular person. I told y'all, see, and that's how I know, that's another talking point. Y'all think everything is the left media, fake news. Dookie got y'all so brainwashed that y'all are just his parrots. Y'all just say whatever he say. There we go. Shout out to Trump. We always gonna find a stupid one that shout him out. No matter how bad he destroyed his country. Because that's the idiocracy and the stupidity of racism. No matter how bad he destroys something, they gonna love it more. Because the stupidity and the spitting in the wind, they don't care if they have to suffer as long as it feels that they can make black people, immigrants, illegals, gays, or whoever they feel is not up to their standards suffer. They don't care if their granny suffers. That's the stupidity. Right? Stupid. You about to find yourself on the outside of the door too. Your dreads are so tight you can't even form a rational sentence. The stupid is you spewing bullshit you know nothing of. Facts hurt his feelings. A pointless hillbilly jigaboo. That feels because he says it's a fact. That the left media, who told you to say that, Dookie? It's those radical left. It's those bloodthirsty, that's what he loves to say, those bloodthirsty radical left. Oh man, they are so ignorant. I'm radical, USA, all capital letters. You are not radical. You hide your face. There's nothing radical about you. You're not Native American. I told you, you like Billy. Y'all lie? Why y'all can lie? But anyway, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll be back later. All my new people that came in and subscribed, shout out to you. Let me see. Oh, there go Patty. Oh, here's a good point. What, did it make sense? Ah, here come Regina. Regina, here you come. I was just talking about you. I was talking about your ass on another line, Regina. You and your $1 gas, Regina. Obama was a radical Islamic terrorist. Y'all be straight up spitting whatever he tell y'all. How? How, Regina? I was just finna get out the room. He's a radical Islamic terrorist. And you claim America, but fly a different flag. Damn, I don't have the freedom. I don't have the free right. I told you they can tell you about their free right. They can tell you, but they want you to live into this echo chamber. They hate anything different because it's a ridiculous level of control. Your ears was itching. Your ears was itching for another reason, Regina. That wasn't that. And I was just talking about how ridiculous MAGA have their predictions. Regina, that gas ain't low yet, yo. Why is that gas not $1, Regina? Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Shut up, Sublime. You just ridiculous. No, it's not, Regina. You said, and you know this is the week, right? You told me last week, give it another week, right? Your prediction. Cheap gas is not on its way. Just like them Doge checks was never on the way. Just like them lower groceries, all that shit he promised that he was gonna do on day one. He lies to y'all. Why do y'all still sit there? I'm talking about Charleston White. Why do y'all sit here in this echo chamber and believe these lies? Like he can really lie right in y'all face, and y'all say he didn't just say that. That's a special level of brain control and mind control and following. He didn't just say that. He can say he don't care about affordability and he cares nothing. And y'all say he didn't say that. What in the hell did he just say? Patty, send me a follow, my man. Not at all. You hate America, yet don't leave. You don't like my life, yet don't leave. Shut up. Texas gas under $2. Here y'all go with the lies. Patience is a virtue. How long, Regina? Yeah, you said patience, Patty. Go online and look. Shut up again, Sublime. How do I feel about the Carmelo Anthony trial? I did a whole live on it. I did a whole live on my thoughts on that. Based on what I'm saying on this live, what do you think I feel about it? Right? Shut up, Sublime. You don't know facts. Anybody that follow Dookie don't understand the word fact, outside of that being just a word to y'all. Right? I feel exactly what it is. It was a railroad and some BS. But we're not here to talk about that. Go check out my other live. Go check out my other video talking about it. I got a whole video talking about it. I told y'all about that. Y'all so literacy people spelling. Oh, so you're fake woke. You're illiterate. YOU''RE. As in you are. You, Billy, all of y'all are just the same thing. I knew where you were going with that question. They don't never know. They be busy, so busy trying to be the standard of intelligence and prove everybody else is less than. They can't even spell. A lot of them can't even spell in my life. They can't even spell. They can't even form proper sentences, punctuation. Fanboys. They don't understand what a fanboy is. And I'm not talking about a LeBron James fanboy. They don't understand proper English, even though they say it's their language. Proper sentence formation. Right? But anyway, I'm about to get up out of here because the roaches are running. Basic grammar. They don't understand. They say the same thing. We was kings. Stupid. These are adults. Stupid. Whenever you listen to the most racist person, they're so stupid. They have nothing of value to say. Deuces, man. I hope you follow me, dog. I appreciate your conversation, man. I appreciate your input. Peace.